Okay, I think we're on.
Yes, live.
Okay.
Woohoo.
So, basically, what I was thinking about this code is to make some ideas for the people what to do with Open Company uh, as some initiative for the people what can do with this idea
Mm-hmm.
for others. And I was thinking that it may be a good idea to meet on once a month or once a 2 months. It depends. To try to close some tickets and move things mm, smoother with Open Company, because I think it's little too quiet about the Open Company, and I think it's a really big idea that can just blow up in the world. So uh, I really think it's worthwhile to try to advertise this to the other people. So I was thinking that maybe we go from tickets which are in the repository. There's much of them. I don't think we need to go through all of them, but I think there are some that we can, for example, move on. So I don't know with what start, but definitely there was, for example, article in one ticket. One moment. Uh, I'll find it. Okay. Here is. I don't know how to. Uh, it's this.
Yeah, that works. The middle
Okay.
thing.
So here's, for example, I don't know this person, but it wrote some article, and I think it's a really good idea to I know add this to the site, to the blog. Uh,
Yeah.
and there isn't any way for me, for example, how to say it, check things on that, because I'm not good in English. So I think we need person some. I know that there was an idea to hire an editor or journalist, if you wish, uh, to make things like that for the text, but I don't know if it will be alive or not, or do we have funds for that?
Yeah. At this point, we don't really have funds for that. Um, we had a little experiment where we brought in a journalist, and long story short, it didn't work out. She wrote one story for us, and it was fine, but it wasn't. We didn't get as much traction with that. That idea didn't really get traction. So we just sort of let that one fizzle out. Um, the impression I got from the Open Company Summit that we had a few months ago was that the folks that were there weren't super interested in maintaining a blog and in publishing our own content necessarily, and wanted to focus more. The idea there was that we focus more on events, I guess, on gathering together people who are already practicing this and thinking in these terms to talk with each other, more so than trying to, uh, I guess, to blog about this. But I don't know. Honestly, man, the status of the Open Company Initiative is it's there. It's available for anybody who has the energy to step up and say, "Let's do this with it." To do that, right now it's you. You know,
I know.
I, yeah, I I like the
But
Open Company Initiative. It's not something that I'm able to spend a lot of time on right now. And I actually just talked to Tim Cook on the phone just before this call, just before we jumped on here. And he was like, yeah, I like Open Company Initiative. He's like, I'm really excited about it. It's just like the seventh thing that I'm excited about. It's like number 7 on his list of priorities. Um, which is obvious from the amount of effort we've been able to put into it. So we need to find some way to harness your energy and your enthusiasm for this. I love that you're doing this. When I love that Joel is officially on board, that Buck is officially on board now.
Yes, yes,
Um,
yes. I've merged them today.
yeah, and so
Yeah, that's
so I saw that come through last night, and I was like, you know what? I need to not merge this. I need to wait and let Camille merge this because I really do want you to feel a sense of ownership of this because
yeah.
it's obvious that you have a real interest in this. So I want to figure out how I can support you um, while not being a bottleneck. You know what I mean? Like I want you to feel like you're able to run with this and that you don't have to wait for me for a decision. You know what I mean? I feel like we've gotten into this pattern. It's probably frustrating for both of us, right? It's a little frustrating for me. I'm sure it's frustrating for you, where it's like, you want to move forward with something on Open Company, but I've got something to do or whatever, right? It's like you have to ask me before you can do something. So I want to figure out how to set you free to be able to run with this. I think
So,
primarily that means giving you a password to Twitter and a password to DNS. Um, but you tell me, what do you see?
so, uh, for example, for me, this idea that you said before that there is that people on the summit said that they would like to get more events or presentations about Open Company
Yeah.
to the other in the crowd. I think it's really worthwhile because you are talking about something that is living and is living in some companies. So uh, it would be great to create something that someone could check, and uh, you can use this presentation, for example, I
Mm-hmm.
don't know, on some meetups, yes, that
Mm-hmm.
people can use to tell something about open companies, what companies are there today, and for example about GitTip, yes,
Yeah.
and I can contact you, see how it works, and how it works in other companies. So this is, I think, a good idea, better than the journalist, and have a content that may not help to, I don't know, help in finding the open companies in the world.
Yeah.
But this idea with presentations, it's, I think, really good, and some event or meetup with that. So
So
I
what does
like
that
the
look
idea.
like practically? What does that look like practically? So this is
So
so there's a presentation, there's a slide deck, so there's a what is it? How does it manifest?
I think slide deck is good, something like that, and uh, if we get the content for that, I think it's just a question if this I don't know, uh, just um, it's just this is belonging to the values that Open Company has in its pledge. So
Mm-hmm.
it is about genuine, about transparency, yes, but
Mm-hmm.
maximizing trust, which is value for customers and other partners and stuff like that. So I
Mm-hmm.
think if this core idea value, which is pledge, is in all the presentation, I think it's great to show that for people. There is many meetup in here in Poland
Mm-hmm.
with companies, startups, and stuff like that. I think this could be one of the things that startups may benefit the most, because when they start company, they have the most
Yeah, yeah.
they can create their
Flexibility.
culture, yes, and
Yeah.
creating their culture is one thing that is most crucial and beneficial in I don't know, creating their product, yes. So
Yeah.
I think it's very important to make something like that and show to the people. So from practical side, I think I would need something. When I create presentation and someone checks me, is that okay? Is this saying everything that needs to be for people? Because for now, it's really nothing specific that you
Mhm.
need, because you are making your pledge that,
Right.
I don't know, YouTube has really big transparency, yes, which is made
Mm-hmm.
on Earth and on Hangouts and stuff like that.
Right.
But other companies, for example, Atlassian doesn't have all products open sourced, but they are also, as they describe themselves, as open company, yes.
Mm.
So
Right.
it's different level of the transparency, but it's something that people need to create. So I think something like that will be very nice to have and make it as official that people can know how to join and what is the side of the uh, membership. Yeah, so uh,
Yeah.
there isn't anything like that now, like membership dues and stuff like that. But I think you said some time ago that you want to plan to implement in GitTip uh,
Right.
for companies uh, making gifts that will be uh, public, so you can
Right.
make
Right.
membership to the open company.
Mm-hmm.
So this is one thing, and second, I think it will be great to create some little infrastructure. I'm not sure about Google App Engine because it's really expensive, but something really cheap, which will be having an email and stuff like that people can just bounce and can use it for I don't know, some communication with people. I know that someone was writing email to the team about membership because they didn't create pull request, but I don't know if he received that email and what he did with that.
Did somebody send email? Is that what you think? Um,
Uh, yes, there was company that was saying that they are feeling that they are open company, and they said that they send an email, but I don't know if team have received it because on the open company side there is email for Team Cook, so I'm pretty sure they
connected to
sent
Tim.
to him.
So Tim probably got an email if somebody wants to join and you haven't added them yet. That's the idea.
Uh,
Okay.
it's a little noisy from you.
Too noisy. Give me one sec. Let me
Okay.
change places. Is this better?
Oh, much
Okay.
better, much better.
Okay. The problem is that this room is boiling hot, so you might have to watch this.
Oh,
We'll be all
here
right.
in Poland.
Um,
Oh,
okay. So you're saying that you heard from somebody that said they sent an email, so that probably went to Tim. So we need to talk to Tim about that one. Is that what I'm hearing?
yes, yes, yes.
We need
Uh,
we need a new. We need to get the OCI back on track. You know, we need to figure out what it is we're doing and do it. Um, I really, I like the brand we're starting to build. To be honest, we've taken a hit the past couple months, the past month especially. With this GitHub crisis, which is linked to GitHub's implementation of open company ideas. So I
yeah.
don't feel like now is really a strong time. I mean, from my perspective, I'm not feeling, free to go talking about open companies a lot. But that doesn't mean other people can't. And part of the story is that, there isn't one single definition of what an open company is. So we even have Klabnik's talk here, which I actually haven't watched yet, but I need to, um, comparing.
Are you there?
Am I back?
Oh, you're back.
Sorry about that. I think all the refrigerators and cinder blocks blocked the Wi-Fi. Okay, but now let me get the light off me. Where did I drop out there?
You were talking about, I think, talking about open companies now is a little bit hard for you because of GitHub crisis, and I think we started moving something from there.
Yeah. So part of the idea with the Open Company Initiative is that there isn't one monolithic definition, that different companies are free to try different things. And, so maybe it's okay that GitHub's having trouble because other people like, Steve Klabnik linked to his talk about balanced implementation of open companies, which can be, different from GitHub's. And, so even though GitHub is having a rocky time, maybe open company as a whole, that's part of the value, right? That's part of the point of the OCI is that there isn't just one right way to do it. So I don't know. I think what I'm hearing from you is you want to start promoting this idea in the startup scene and the meetup scene over you're in Poland, right? Is that right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
If it's possible in other places, that would be great. So I'm thinking that many people don't think about it in that term. So I mean, many people don't think that transparency counts in meaning of trust. Yes, it doesn't have to be in the same way as in GitTip. Yeah, but people don't think that this will give them value, and I think it's really possible to make show the people that there are many use cases and story ideas of people that did that, and their business benefits from that. So I think the greatest thing is that there are many companies that we don't know about now, and that they have pledged some of the transparency for their company, which many people benefit. So as an example is this company that I just sent the link on Hackerspace in Warsaw, and people said, "Oh, our company is running in that spirit." Yes, we are making that pledge. So this is great, and I think it will be great to show people that they maybe will start something that will be very exciting for their product and for their startup or company that they're running now. So I just want to show them that. So I was, I don't know, I started in open source and free software movement, and this was idea that I said it's a great idea, and I think the same about, and I feel the same about open company, and I think it's great to share that enthusiasm for other people. So this is my idea, why I want to help to provide this to our people. Yeah.
So what if we had? So I think the idea is we've got this basic pledge. I would like to see us revise that pledge a little bit. I think we can make it even more straightforward than it is. What do we say right now? We say maximizing trust through genuine corporate transparency and openness. One thing we said is that this transparency and openness, one thing we said in our meeting when we were together was, on the one hand, we're sharing information. On the other hand, we're sharing control. Okay? So sharing information means, publishing, here's everybody's salaries or whatever. Sharing control means giving people, besides immediate staff or owners or whatever, input into decisions, that kind of thing. And so it could be more straightforward to just say, we're creating trust by sharing information and control instead of using these words transparency and openness, and be more specific. Excuse me. So I think there's, because then that's very practical, right? Like genuine corporate transparency and openness is sort of vague and undefined, but sharing information and control is very specific, right? It's pragmatic. It's like, okay, how do I, like, sharing information control? I can start brainstorming ways that I would actually do that, right?
Mm-hmm. So for me, I'm not sure about the second part. So sharing control, I don't think it's because using and it's implying that it's also about control, but
Okay.
I don't think always the right side. Yes, because sometimes you just want to share information, but you don't want to give a control because you want to have this control, but you are honest with what you are doing. It's the same thing like BDFLs in Python community or
Right.
in Django community. So
Right.
in the end, they are very transparent because you can see the PEP and I don't know, or that or anything like that. It's open, but
Yeah.
in the end, someone is taking the control, which isn't always in the side of the community or user. So I'm
Yeah.
not sure about. I'm very sure about sharing information, but about control, I'm not sure. It may be sharing information and openness or control, but I don't think the and control is something that is implying in open company. In GitTip,
Yeah.
yes, it's really. But for example, when you check with GratiPay, yes, change the
Yeah.
name
Yeah.
to GratiPay. This
Yeah.
was your decision.
Yeah.
Even if there was many people that didn't agree with GratiPay,
Yeah.
this was the decision. And I don't think it's always about control, giving control. It's maybe some part of the control, but not all.
Yeah.
So this may be misunderstood. So I'm feeling more comfortable with that sharing information on panels, but not about controlling. It's really radical, I think, from my point.
Yeah. So part of it is that it's not naive, right? It's not simple. It's not like sharing control is a monolithic thing where it's all or nothing, because certainly I do share tons of power on Git, right? Like even on that thread, right? Even on the Gratify thread that you referenced, like part of why you saw me being so heavy-handed on that thread is because the community does have tons of power, right? Like it was going to be really easy to derail that conversation, and turn it into another bike shed like we had 2 years ago. Everybody listing, all these names, right? And that's just not helpful for moving the community forward um, to reach decision. But I was definitely, I don't know. I think there's a question mark there between control that's shared with community, and then obviously you still have to make a decision at some point, right? Um, I don't know. Okay, well, so I think that's still part of it. The question is, to what extent do we have to define that up front, and what are we saying? What are we saying is the pledge, is the thing that like the general statement that provides our general definition of what we're doing. And then in the directory, maybe we need to make more of the directory, so that each of these, like, I think it would be good to link.
I think that was in some ticket that beyond the name of company, there should be link how they treat their openness. I think there is
Exactly.
ticket.
Yeah.
So
So balance has that. right? Like for balance, we're linking to balancepayments.com/open. Um, GitHub actually has one now too, but maybe we make that the requirement instead of just a general, homepage. We link to a page that's, we say we want to link to a page that's specifically about your commitment to openness or something, right? And then the
Yes,
money
I
thing,
think,
because look, yeah.
yeah. Sorry for interrupting.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
So I think there was here there is ticket for that. But I think there is somewhere here or uh, there is in some ticket there's a proposition to make that if someone is joining to the directory and they are joining, there should be added link to the openness, and I think this is a really good requirement for people because if someone's making that pledge, it's question how they do it. In on the site there is in join. There is, I think, there is 6.1 concrete example of how your company already fulfills our pledge, and I I think it's really a good idea to make that as something that is required and it show to the people how this is open. So is it open source or is it open communication for users or something else? Yes. So that's a really good idea. But the question I think is how to ask companies that are now here in the directory to add
Yeah.
this. So I think it's really easy for Git balance and the open company and stuff like that, but I don't think it's really easy to every uh, every company now there is much. So the second part I think is to I don't know how to push that. So the thing with Buffer went really well and really unexpected for me, but
Yeah.
I think we have two more company. I think there is suggested code combat for in issues repository and Atlassian. With Atlassian, there was one guy who said that he will bring it up in his company, but I don't know if that really happened or not. So I think I will back him again. Is this possible? And I think there is I don't know, many more companies there, and maybe we should try to find them and propose them to go to the directory, why they are open, and what gives them. For example, there was this guy Florentin, Kai YZH, I think. I don't know how to pronounce that. He's from France. And I think he works in Red Hat, and I think about Red Hat also as an open company.
Yeah, but I don't think
They
we
open
want to
source.
start heavily recruiting companies.
Yeah.
I think we want to because money, right? I think the rubber's going to meet the road when it's like, all right, what are we actually doing? Do we have a budget? Is anybody believe in us enough to put the money behind it so that we can actually hire an editor if we want to, right? To start putting out content, so we actually have a budget to produce content about open companies and keep on top of social media and marketing kind of stuff, PR. Are we going to have a budget to pay for event planning for open company summits, in the U.S. and Europe and wherever else, right? Until we've got some financial commitments that that give us something to work with to actually do some real stuff. I don't know. I think that's the missing piece, right? Like, I don't think we're going to get very far. I think the commitment What is the commitment? The point of being an open company is to come together around this basic idea that trust comes from openness and transparency, that we can create trustworthy corporations through openness and transparency. Coming together around that idea is only going to have teeth if we've got some money on the line, so that we can actually do some real stuff, right? Until we have that money piece figured out, then it's just you and me, trying to do a little bit here and there, and I don't think we have any real, any real oomph behind the initiative. I think we need to figure out the money thing.
Okay.
TBH. What do you think?
Okay. So basically, what I understand is that you are very you want companies that they will I don't know, make this commitment to the initiative, that they, for example, pay membership dues, yes?
Yeah.
Which will make in the end possible to advertise more, and I think, yes, that's a good point, to make it more, I don't know how to say that, I think more visible in the end, because it's really good idea, I think. Okay, I didn't think about that in that way, mostly because on the side there is how membership dues work now. They are in pay what you want model, yes?
Yeah.
And now basically Open Company on GitTip has only $25 now, I think. It was more before, but I think it got down, really down.
It's at 50. It's at 50 right now.
Okay.
But yeah, it's not very much.
Oh, 49.50, yes, right. So, this is a team, okay. So maybe
you should be
when GitTip will have, I don't know, and how many patrons is that? 8 patrons.
Yeah, it's really not a lot.
8 patrons, and how many companies do we have?
At least that. They're not represented.
There is
2, 4, 6, 8, 9.
9. Okay, there is 9 companies, 8 patrons. It's not bad. It's not so bad.
Except that they're not linked, right? Some of the patrons are me. Some of the patrons are individuals who want to see this happen. So I think the next step for Open Company is to tie together membership with money. Which unfortunately, in the way that I'd like to do it anyway, is blocked on GitHub, creating the features we need to be able to do that, right? The best way forward that I see for Open Company is to improve GitHub and have membership in Open Company run through GitHub, so that membership is defined as giving some amount of money to Open Company, right, from GitHub. And then we'll have a budget to work with, and then it'll be a real commitment, because right now it's cheap, it's like, okay, so we've added buffer here, that's great. What does it actually mean? There's no downside to being a part of it, right? Unless you don't want to be associated with, with the initiative, for whatever reason, all of a sudden. But there's no oomph to it, But having the money piece there would be a thing that says, okay, we're actually paying. It's a thing. This is standard behavioral economics or whatever, right? It's like if you pay for something, you value it a lot more than if you don't. If somebody gives me, a cup of coffee, I don't value it as much as if I went and paid for it myself. So I think that dynamic is working against us right now. I think it was fine to start with and gauge some initial interest, but I think going forward we need to say, look, if we want this to go anywhere, we need a budget. If you believe in this idea and in this initiative, then put some money where your mouth is, right? Or what do you think? I think that's the nut of the problem. I think that's the the heart of what we need to work on is money and membership.
Okay,
Because then there's a
so
reason to show. Then there's a reason for these people to show up and be part of this thing, right? It's like you're going to be invested in it more if you're putting money into it. That means you're actually buying into it, and you want to be invested in what it means and where it's going. In a way that we
okay,
just don't have. Like we don't have, like you are here because you love this idea and because you're passionate about it. You don't have a company, like you're connected with GitHub, but it's not like you're running one of these companies that's on this, right? It's like you want to spread the idea among companies, startups where you're at. But what we need are companies to step up and actually do this. And I think, I don't know, I guess I'm just saying the same thing over and over again. I think we need to solve the money and membership issue.
okay.
First.
So I think it's for now. I think because maybe we can do this in that way. So, for example, if we have now companies in directory, yes.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, we said that we have model that is pay what you want, yes, and
Okay.
I think
Okay.
it's true. So maybe we can do this like this, that we want some commitment from that companies, yes, and
Yeah.
we ask them to make their commitment by saying how much money they will spend monthly for
Yeah.
opening company. So, for example, they say, okay, it's $10. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
So, but with that, you have something that you can say, okay, you said that we'll be sending $10, and we didn't receive anything, and do you want to support it or not, or something else? Yes. So I'm thinking that this is really quick to solve because I think we have contact for every of that companies now.
Right.
And that's really great. And we can do something about it. So maybe I create a ticket to that to contact those companies and try to ask them if they can tie their membership with their I don't know, membership dues. Yes.
I think
And how much?
ideally we want it to be automatic, right?
In the
Ideally,
end, in the end, you want this to be automatic. Yes.
yeah, right. Like we want this to be, if you're giving to OCI on GitHub and you click a checkbox, it says, I'm a member or whatever. However, like we need to work through that workflow. But if you're giving to OCI on GitHub, then you are a member of the Open Company Initiative, and you show up on the directory. If you're not giving money, if you didn't give any money last week, then you don't show up on the directory. It's as simple as that. We can even advertise maybe the amount that you paid or something, right? Like let's think through that. So maybe we give you a chance to say your company size, or maybe we just leave that alone. The idea being that larger companies should be paying more. But we could just leave that alone because maybe a smaller company is more passionate and interested in this and wants to advertise that. But this could be a place where we want to create a little competition, maybe. You know what I mean? We want to have a little bit of friendly competition among members, among companies, for who's sponsoring this, right? But I think we want to. I'm looking at the directory here. Let's bring up the directory. Looking at company initiatives, screen share that. We're here on the directory.
Yeah.
Let's put a dollar amount where it says, $1,000. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. Anyway. Let's put $1,000 here, and $2,000 and $500 and $1,000, whatever, right? Like, let's have those dollar amounts right on this directory. Maybe a little less emphasized, but the point being, like, these are companies rather, that actually believe in this and are putting something behind it. I think that's going to get the incentives going in the right direction, and then we're going to have a budget to work with, so that when you want to put together the OCI summit in Europe, we've got a budget. We can say, all right, here's our budget for this. Let's make this event happen, right? And then we can pull a team together and actually put on a real event instead of just you and me on an open call together, and get some stuff going. Don't you think? I don't know. I don't know what else to do on this. Like I think we need to get money moving through this before we do anything else. I think we're at that point where we've got enough traction, we've got enough mind share with a handful, obviously 9 companies here and a couple more in the wings. Let's put our money where our mouth is.
Okay, so you suggested that should be done automatically, but I don't know how to do this with GitTip now. I think it's not possible. So nevertheless,
Right,
I
so
think
the problem is you don't want to wait till GitHub has these features. You want to run with this now.
it can be very long, very long. So, and my experience with that is sometimes things to the GitTip are waiting 1 year, 2 year, and etc. So
depends on who does the work. That's because everybody waits for me to do the work.
So
pull requests, more pull requests, less talking.
Yeah. So I think it's mostly because you're using Aspen, but I don't want to start this discussion.
Aspen doesn't come on, it's not that hard. It's just Python. It's Python and Jinja 2.
Yeah. I tried this 2 or 3 times, and Django seems to me much more. I think when I first dived into Simplitis, it was very easy thing for small websites, but GitHub is really, really large. So I don't think now Aspen has a very good idea how to make scalable applications for now.
Why not? For
now, for example, in GitHub, whole feature of browsing the users is rid of, and there isn't very quick path to make this feature again visible. So
this is the thing that's browsing users.
Making me back. Please.
There's to make which thing visible? Browsing users.
Yes, users, communities, teams, and stuff like that.
You mean like automatic pagination and stuff like that?
Yes. So as an example, so making this in Django is making one additional application for pagination, and I have this feature for this model, and I'm only changing how this looks like. Yes, I know that we have no Jinja in this, but for me it's really hard to think about, because 3 or 4 times I saw that GitHub was solving the problem which is solved in other frameworks, and that makes me really sad sometimes, because this drawbacks the making new features mostly to solve things that are solved in other frameworks. So this is my point of view. I'm not the best programmer in the world, so don't take this as a I don't know how to say that. But if you want to rewrite GitHub in some other framework, I read that article that you wrote on blog that why not Django or Rails, yes? But when I think about it, when someone will try to remake GitHub in some of these frameworks, it will do very quickly all work that you did in past 2 years.
Go for it, man. Rewrite it. Give me a pull request.
I know, I saw that.
Code talks. Talk is cheap. Write code.
Okay. We can make deal that when I go to the hackathon, I will try to rewrite GitHub in Django.
Do it.
Okay.
The gauntlet is thrown down. If you give me a pull request that converts GitHub to Django, we will take that pull request seriously.
Okay. I'm taking this very seriously.
Okay.
And, I'm taking this really, really seriously. We will see that, okay?
All right.
I was doing something with the team on last hackathon from Hackerspace Warsaw, and we were building platform for crowdfunding the local communities. So when I'm thinking about this, I think uh, we can manage to create something working. Maybe not really good visible because we are not front-end developers, but I will think about it.
Well, but you've got, like, the point would be to have it look exactly like GitHub looks now. Like, the first step would be switch to using Django without changing anything up front.
Yes, I know that the problem is to make migration of existing database to something that Django creates, but I don't think it's too big hassle or problem.
Well,
Um,
I think that you're going to
I
find
think
that it's
that
more work than you think.
the core problem I think will be payday, so will be very hard to write. So I
Well,
agree that
you want to use
part
Django
with
models for payday? Yeah, could be.
I think it's the biggest problem. I saw that Shakango, I think he
Uh-huh.
was he's doing rewrite of that, and
Yep,
it's
yep.
going really long. So I really think it's the hardest part of all thing.
Yep. So, all right, but, you know, dialing back to Open Company Initiative.
Going back to
Uh,
OCA.
yeah. To OCI, so you really want to proceed with this and start getting the money going now without waiting for additional Get It features to land, which is understandable because yes, Get It features are not going to happen tomorrow on this. Um, so what does that look like? That looks like going back to each of these and saying, hey, so what are you going to say? What's your plan? What's your plan, and what do you need from me?
From you, I know. I think I will just write the email to the companies, and if you can check
Okay.
that for me, is that okay? And I think I will send every company email that we would like to have some tied to the OCI, yes, and
Okay.
if they can make pledge how no pledge, they can make some declaration how much they will spend on membership dues now,
Uh-huh.
or if they don't want to be an open company anymore because they don't want to pay what you want for being in OCI. So if you think it's really important, I think it's not too much work. So I will write this to companies, and after that we will be seeing how much companies do we have and what we can do about here. Uh, the second thing, I will try to find every material that people wrote on, because there is too many tickets now, I think, for that, with
Uh-huh.
story ideas and stuff like that, and make that in one place and choose what is valuable or what not, and to remove the things that aren't valuable for now.
For
So
the story ideas?
second thing, please.
For the story ideas, you're going to curate
Yes, yes,
for
yes.
those?
So
Okay.
I think that there was some people who write some things from books and write their own articles and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
if something is valuable, because I don't like idea that there are some tickets that run for half an hour, half
Yeah,
a
happy
year,
year.
yes, and they are open and we don't know what about it. And I
Yeah.
just want to have some clean path what we do.
Okay. Well, we're not really writing stories right now. I mean, that goes back to this. I mean, to me, writing stories is a secondary consideration, right? Because it's like we need people to write them. We need to be able to
Yeah,
pay
yeah.
people who are going to write the stories. That's why I think the most important thing is figuring out the funding situation. That's going to be the lifeblood of this organization. Whatever we're going to do, we're going to need to fund it. So let's start getting the funding thing in place. Um,
There was nice idea with that stickers and that shirts by Florentine. So I
any,
think in the end, it's also a good idea to fund stuff like that and give people to their laptops and
what's it
stuff
going to
like
take to? Did I lose you? Sorry, it's also a good idea. What?
Uh, there was good idea by Florentine. It's also on issues to make some stickers and T-shirts. So if we get money, we can, for example, spend some on stickers and give to make some, I don't know, advertising of the Open Company on people laptops or T-shirts.
Yeah. There you go. Um, I would be fine with that. I think once we start having a budget, then we can talk about, all right, how we gonna spend this,
Yeah.
right?
Okay. So I
Um,
will write this email, create ticket for that, and we'll move from that.
okay. I'm going to look at what it would take. Can we spend a second just thinking about that? What would we actually need from GitHub um, to make this funding thing work through GitHub, right?
I think we need some API for that.
So what's the API that we need? So we want to say on this directory, we want to say, we want to put dollar amounts on this, right? And we want to pull this listing. We want to fetch this listing once a week from GitHub because it's going to be based on the amounts they gave last week, right?
Yes. So there was two
We want
things
a
that
giver's API.
membership members that are there and which members paid last week.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure about one thing, because if we think about memberships, yes, we think mostly about monthly memberships dues, yes, and GitTip is weekly, so I don't think about how to think about that. Chat?
Sorry,
Okay.
I'm back
So
now.
the thing is that I think companies that mostly uh, if they have some memberships, they have the monthly, yes.
Yeah, although for
So
something like this, it would probably annual would probably work just as well.
oh, that would be great. So
But
because
that
now
could honestly,
it's really weekly, so I don't know if that works for every company.
but that could be handled. All right, so that's a general problem on the GitHub side is that people want to fund their account at different intervals, even if we tick over once a week, even if we don't actually move money from from Saxifrage to OCI, even if we do that once a week, Saxifrage wants to pay in monthly or uh, pay in annually or whatever. Like that's a general GitHub problem. Um, I don't think that that's okay. So let's say that that'd be a second tier, right? So the first thing is to get an API,
Yes,
an
the API.
API for Open Company org for Open Company on GitHub that is an API that gives us a list of everybody who gave last week. Um, and so we're separating that out from the schedule on which the givers fund their account, add funds to their GitHub account. Even if they add funds to their GitHub account on a monthly or annual basis, they're still giving to OCI on a weekly basis. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So then, so we need an API that says, here's the list of people who gave to you last week. There's additional
Yes.
information. There's additional attributes of each company that we want, namely a link to their page, like we're saying, a link to their page describing their policy of openness.
Yes, but I think it doesn't have to be in API of GitTip. It's
Right.
on OC website.
Yeah, so we'll need some way to knit those together, right? For now, the system we've got with a YAML file and Jekyll is probably still going to be okay for that. We'll just we'll link it to a GitHub username, a username or user ID, whichever we decide. I mean, user ID would be immutable, so that'd be to be cleaner. In case we should do that in case a company changes
Okay.
its username, right? Um, so then in what is it? Data.yaml? Is that what it is?
Uh,
Um,
I'm not sure about one thing. So,
what's that?
uh, will be this API from public space from JavaScript, or this will be some API that is non on server side?
Would be it'd be a JSON API, right?
Yes, JSON API, but is this API public for everyone, which will be on front-end side taken,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
or this will be API which is pre-processed on
Mm-hmm.
server side,
All
which
right.
users are, because I'm thinking about what data should be or not be public for the other users. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, right. I
Because
know
we
what you're
now
saying.
have static website generator, and if we want to do that, this API should be public, and it will be done from JavaScript side on front-end side. And I don't think it's uh, every time a good idea, because you explicitly show the data from GitHub database to basically everyone in the world. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So we're only going to expose donor information for companies and organizations. We're not going to do that for individuals. A.
Yes.
And B, we're only going to do it as an opt-in, right? So by default, we won't expose that, and a company or a company or organization on GitHub will have to click yes, share this information, and then that API will be available. Um, all right, so we'll have to think through. What I hear you saying is maybe even then you want that API only read only for the organization. So that only you'll have to authenticate as that organization to get that API even read only. Is that what I'm hearing? In which case we'd need to figure out some server side system, so that as part of our Jekyll build, we uh, do a curl for this JSON API and then dump that, knit that together with the directories YAML that has a few other pieces of information in it to produce a final directories YAML that that includes the dollar amounts from GitHub for that week.
Yes. So this will be done weekly
Mm,
for. So this should be
yeah.
done. Yeah. Okay. I think it's not a problem.
Okay. Cool. So adding this JSON API. So then let's think. So on the GitHub side, we need to add a JSON API to expose givers in the case, and we're going to enable that. Let me see where I add that ticket. Um, that's give. No. Let's see. 236. So on that ticket, we're actually saying it needs to be double opt-in. So we need to add. Is it going to be? This is where it starts to get complicated. If it's double opt-in, then do we opt in?
Yes, he is.
do we have a general opt-in on the patron side so that the patron can say share the fact that I'm giving with whoever wants to know, or do we also
Yes.
make that? Do we also tie that to each patron, giver receiver relationship so that the giver has to say, don't share don't share in general, but do share with this specific person that I'm giving to, right?
Yes. So, yes, it sounds more complicated.
Yeah.
But it's another, I think, permission problem for that.
Yeah, we just need to keep track. Right, we need to keep track of those permissions. We need to add the UI to manage those permissions, and then we need to, to honor those permissions in the receiver's endpoint that we're talking about adding, right? Or the giver's endpoint that we're talking about adding, right?
Okay.
I have a very important task for you. Not to bring any money down. So I need to run and give her money. If someone shows up, can you just tell them that I will be back in like 5? Kind of on dust, not dust,
Sorry.
right? 65. I can't even think it's like 63.
Park Road.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yes.
You go down to 8th Street, and it's Park Road.
I can ask her. I'll run. Okay. But if someone shows up, tell them
Okay.
like we're here. I'm here. I'll be back.
Okay. Hey, Camille, I think I should probably duck off at this point.
Okay.
But let's pick this up. So let's pick this up on 236, on Get It 236 for the figuring out what we need for the endpoint for receivers. And I guess I would like to go that route sooner rather than later. But if we don't want to wait for that, then yeah, let's just start reaching out to individual companies and at least get that ball rolling and say this is the direction I'd
Okay.
like to go.
So, if you could pass me the ticket on, just mention me in that ticket, okay?
Yep. Yeah, and I linked you in IRC, but I'll mention you in a comment.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay.
Great. That sounds right.
All right. Thanks for putting the call together. Thanks for working on OCI. Keep up the
Also,
good
thank
work.
you. Keep it up, everyone. Bye.
Cheers. See ya.